Thank you so much, Kris Salvi, for being here. Your film, A New York Minute, is part of the Access Film Festival this year, and we are so excited. I am originally from New York, though I live in Framingham now, so it's a special film to me.
Well, thank you.
What was some of your inspiration behind making this film?
Well, the script came from the original basis of the idea came from Gabby Rawson, the lead actress. She wrote the first draft, and she wrote it as like a micro short. She wrote it, I think it was like 2 or 3 pages, and I read it. I really liked it. She did not want to direct it. She wanted me to direct it. I don't know why, but she did. And I read it, and I was like, there's something here. There's something, it was all about a cop who, in the original draft, she calls her mother, and then she goes back to her hotel room, and that was like the whole story.
And this is the main character.
This is the main character, yeah.
Gabby plays the main character.
Yes.
And she's a police officer.
And she's a police officer, yeah. So the whole script, the whole 2 pages or 3 pages was, she was this kind of depressed police officer who calls her mother and then goes back to her hotel room, and I don't want to spoil it, but she does things in her hotel room, does something to herself in her hotel room, and that was it. That's all it was. And Gabby was like, I want to shoot this in New York, but the way that the story was, it didn't give any New York vibes. It was just a hotel room. I was like, we could shoot this literally anywhere if you want to just do this version, but I think there's something more here. And I took the script, as I usually do, and tried to, I'll say I salvied it up a little bit. And I made some changes and made it a little bit longer and turned a hotel room into New York City and made New York like a character in the film, pretty much.
And New York really, truly is a character in the film. Can you talk about some of the touches that you made to bring New York into the script?
Well, I knew that I wanted to film in, like the Bowery section. I wanted to film a little bit on the Lower East Side. I wanted to show, it's hard to show New York City as gritty New York City because New York's not really like that. They've cleaned it up a lot. But we tried to find the best, dirtiest places that we could find. Like, we went to parts of Broadway, and there's still a lot of vagrants and homeless people on Broadway sleeping, and there's a lot of people coming from Times Square throwing trash everywhere. There's a lot of dirt. So I really wanted to show like the congested, trashy, gritty New York City. The New York City that like you see in 1970s photos,
The New York City I grew up visiting.
That's right, yeah. And like I spent a little bit of time in New York City a couple of years ago. I lived on the West Side, and that was a total different change to me because I thought I was moving to 1970s New York. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. There's gonna be like derelict buildings and hole in the wall bars. No, there was none of that.
But you do play a character in the film.
Yeah, I play like a homeless vagrant. Yeah, one of the many. And we tried to actually get footage of real homeless vagrants. If you look closely, there's a scene where Gabby is crossing the street, and there was this nice manhole cover that had like steam coming out of it. And if you look real closely in the background, you can see about 2 or 3 vagrants sleeping on the sidewalk, and that's really what I wanted. I was like, it sounds horrible, but I was like, yeah, get footage of that homeless guy right there. Get footage of her walking by, because that's...
And the unhoused people of New York are a part of the community of New York.
They are.
It's not... to make them invisible would be
an insult.
Yeah, it really would be.
It would be an insult.
Definitely.
It was a real street type of movie, so I wanted to show the street of New York.
And we've known each other for many, many years now, and I know you love music, and I feel like your love of music really comes through in this film as well. Can you talk about some of your choices there?
I know that I wanted, before I start every movie, when I read a script, I can hear the music. Like I can hear the songs. That's how I know if I'm gonna make a movie. If I can hear the songs in my head. And I don't know what it was with the music that really captivated me, like the style. I know I wanted all the music, not all the music, but I know I wanted a good portion of the music that I grew up listening to, which is the 50s and 60s and even the 30s and 40s music, but that's in all my films. But I wanted something that was a little bit romantic, like some songs that had a romantic kind of almost religious feel to them. Like there's Skeeter Davis's song, oh my God, what is the, I can't even remember the name of it. Not Make the World Go Away, but it's got a similar title. I can't believe I don't remember the title track song. But there was The Sun Whose Rays Are All Ablaze. That was the opera song that opens the beginning of the film. Gabby specifically wanted that one, and that was a good ring to it. And I thought that's a good opening song. It's like a nice kind of almost meditative, like I said, with an almost religious feel to it. And I know that I definitely wanted Tristan and Islu. That's the classical piece that plays at the end, because I used Vertigo as inspiration for this movie. And that's a song that is in Vertigo that Bernard Herrmann kind of riffed on. So I was like, I want that song at the very end, that classical Tristan and Islu piece.
Yeah.
But I can't believe that I can't remember the name of that Skeeter Davis song.
Well, everyone's going to have to come to Access Film Festival and find out what that song is.
That's right, yeah,
Now-
including
now-
me. Yeah, that's right.
So even though this movie is set in New York, you are a Massachusetts boy.
Yes.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Fitchburg and Leominster, really.
So
Yeah.
what brought you from Fitchburg and Leominster to filmmaking?
Oh my God.
I'm asking you the tough questions.
that's like we'd be here for 5 hours.
So-
I don't know. I think it was all an accident.
Really?
I really do. I think it was all an accident. When I was younger, like very young and shorter than I am now, my parents would leave the TV on and I would watch a lot of films on TV. And back then, there was a channel that's very popular now called AMC, but when I was younger, it was just starting.
Yeah.
And AMC back then was kind of like what Turner Classic Movies is now. And they played a lot of older films. Played a lot of old John Westerns, like John Ford Westerns. They played a lot of old horror films, like the classical Universal monster movies. And I got addicted to watching those, and I just watched those. There was a lot of Batman 1949 serials.
Oh, yeah.
I was obsessed with serials. I love serials. I never even knew what a serial was. So when they were like, tune in next week, I was like, no, tune in now, tune in now. And I don't know, because where I'm from is the typical small city blue collar life. You know, you either grow up to be a priest, a cop, a construction worker, or a criminal. You know, no one from really my world kind of became a filmmaker. It was like something crazy. You might as well as say, I want to be an astronaut who hunts dinosaurs. Like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But I think it was the TV that really honestly made me watching those old movies. And my parents would take me to old movie theaters. There were a lot of older movie theaters when I was a kid that just aren't around anymore that played older films. So that's where I saw films like, I mean, it's kind of messed up to say, but like my dad took me to go see like Taxi Driver when I was like 11, and I saw movies like Friends of Eddie Coyle, and I saw movies like The Outfit with Robert Duvall, and I saw a lot of those new Hollywood films, like from the 60s. I saw Bonnie and Clyde on the big screen when I was
Wow.
probably like 12.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this reminds me so much of where I grew up. And there's this, but there was also like, they played a lot of musicals too. You know, I saw Wizard of Oz on the big screen when I was like 8. My family would take me to movie theaters, and then
A little bit more age appropriate than Taxi
a
Driver.
little bit, yeah. Well, that explains a lot about me now,
But I think it also highlights how the arts are for everyone.
Yes.
And I know sometimes I talk to people that aren't involved in filmmaking, and going to a film festival feels intimidating to them.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they think that that is for artistic people. They think it's for filmmakers only.
That's right.
People with the depth of knowledge that you have on films. But I've always felt like it is something that makes art accessible for everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
What is something about film festivals that you think anyone can enjoy?
Oh my God, it's the films, man. It's the communal experience. It's the seeing the authentic voice told on the screen. Getting together and watching a film at a film festival or at any event really is a communal experience. You get to share feelings with everybody, with people you don't even know. And some people in the theater, they might laugh, they might cry, they might snicker, they might, you know, however they feel, they might get angry. And it's interesting to always see that at a film festival, how some people react to a certain film. And I really like film festivals too because, as you know, the majority of films playing aren't worldwide. And you will see something on there that you're like, oh my God, I am just blown away by it. Some of my favorite films, like just in general, were films that played at film festivals. I would have never seen those films if I didn't go.
Yeah, 100% agree.
It's amazing how, it's weird to say, but I think they talk about the theaters going out of business. You know, theater chains are dying and stuff like that. But there's more film festivals now than ever. And in place of going and seeing a Hollywood film, you can go to a film festival and you can see something made by a local artist who just wants to express themselves. And that's really the amazing part, that you get to share that with everybody.
Yeah, and I also think with short films specifically, it's such a gift to go to a short film block because maybe you don't like the second film, but then the fifth film will be your favorite film you've ever seen.
That's right, yeah, yeah. I think short films, I'm actually so I'm a very big defender on short films. A lot of people are kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's a short film, whatever. I think you can learn more from a short film than you can a feature. I think you actually have less time in a feature to tell your story than you do in a short film. I feel like with a short film, you can actually have your characters and have your story breathe. As where a feature film, you can get really bored real easily. So it's actually the opposite. With a feature film, I feel like you need to constantly be going. But I feel like with a short film, time is irrelevant. You know, it's insane that actually they put a label on it and they say like, oh, this is a short film. And I prefer to call them little movies. And I always like the little movies that kind of give time for the story to breathe and time for the characters to breathe. You don't see that a lot with short films. No.
And I know that you have seen a number of the films that are in the festival.
Yes, yes.
Are there any that you specifically, other than A New York Minute, that you think that people will particularly enjoy?
Ryan Noon's film is in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
What, the Invisible? No.
Yes.
Invisible, yes, Invisible. That film hit me like a ton of bricks.
It's a beautiful, beautiful film, and I think it speaks about mental health, which is so important, and chronic illness, and it touches on things that it takes an approach that it's Oscar worthy.
It is Oscar worthy. It really is. Everything about that film is beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything from the camera angles to the framings to the shot to the acting. Everything about that film is beautiful. I said it was one of my favorite movies just in general to come out. It's a brilliant film.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
And I hope you can make it to the festival.
I will be there.
Definitely. Oh, wonderful.
It's the end of the world. That's the name of the Skeeter Davis song. That's what it was.
You spoiled it.
I did. Now nobody can see the film yet.
But I'm excited. I'm excited that you'll get to meet new people and talk with some of the people who've just seen your film.
I am very excited.
It's one of my favorite things about festivals, getting to meet the filmmakers.
It's always great networking with the filmmakers. That's my favorite part too. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kris.
Thank you.